Good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and I'm going to keep this short. There's a reason that my face isn't on screen right now. It's because, number one, I just woke up. Number two, I think I'm starting to get the flu. Felt physically like garbage yesterday and mentally like garbage as well. I tried to, and today it feels much worse and combine a sore throat and all the other stuff and usual stuff. I think it may be flu, but whatever. I'm here. We're gonna do a very quick breakdown of what's going on. No, well, looking at the percentages, ugh. Iowa 3, okay. That's a pretty good, surprising one. That one's a little bit of a surprise. New York 4, not the one I expected. And that's 91% in. New York 3, 90%. So Republicans are having a good night in some areas. They're having a bad night in others. Basically, the Democrats are doing far better than myself, or I'd say a decent amount of people expected. If we go to the Senate, obviously there's a wrong answer for me, and I'll be doing a full breakdown at some point. Once every Senate seat and all but a handful of House seats are done. Truth is, Democrats ran ahead of their polls, and they also ran a lot further ahead of President Biden's approval rating than I expected them to. Okay? So that's the short answer of why it's looking like I'm going to be wrong on my final prediction. And that's okay. It happens, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And I'm going to be working on trying to make up for that and not make up, but more accurately adjust for that in the future and say, hey, okay, let's not discount this possibility here. And late-breaking undecided voters, it seems, also favor the Democrats this year, which is unusual, but it happens. This year is going to be kind of a really weird one when we look at it in the past, because usually the president's party gets close to wiped out in the midterms. And it's looking like Democrats have set themselves up for not the complete wipeout that I would have expected in 24. Republicans can absolutely still have a good night if they get lucky in Nevada and Arizona. Georgia's going to go to a runoff. I think Wisconsin is... That doesn't help me. What's Wisconsin looking like? Over 95% of the votes in with, okay. It's a 20-some-odd thousand vote lead. And there's driftless area again. Ron Johnson should win. There's not a lot of votes, and it's about a percent lead. And where they do have estimates, it looks like a lot of places shifted more Republican. Okay. Look back at Georgia. This one's going to run off with... It's dead certain at this point. there's basically no vote left. And, well, the Atlanta Metro shifted towards the Dems, while rural Georgia shifted, except for the mountains and west of Atlanta. It's kind of a little bit weird, but most of rural Georgia shifted very much to the right. Looking at Arizona, Arizona has about 2/3 of the vote in. It's a 6-point lead. And right now they expect Kelly to win that. And there's not enough of the vote in. Weird that they expect Maricopa, and I forget this county's name. But there's a lot of Republican votes still expected, is what the New York Times thinks. We'll see if that happens. And then we go to Nevada, where we got about 3/4 of the vote in. And another close election. They expect a lot of vote in Clark County and Washoe County to be Democratic. We'll see about that, because but they've only got one county that's almost all in, and it slightly shifted towards the Dems. Okay. We go over to governor's races, and I should have done it from there, but whatever. Arizona, don't know yet, but Kari Lake is running further ahead, or is running ahead of Blake Masters. Brian Kemp won pretty clearly in Georgia. Kansas is not called yet, but it looks like Laura Kelly's going to pull that one out. I don't remember what my gubernatorial prediction was. Maine, Mills, it looks like didn't even need to go to ranked choice. In Michigan, Whitmer won pretty comfortably over Tudor Dixon. Nevada still hasn't been called yet, but Lombardo is running ahead of Sisolak. And again, about 3/4 of the votes in. New Mexico was closer than I think a lot of people probably expected. About 40,000 votes, or, well, that's about 6%. New York, wow. About 93% of the vote is in, and 300,000 votes in New York. That's a lot of votes, a lot of raw votes. But yeah, everything shifted Republican. I didn't think Zeldin would win, but I thought it would be very interesting. I'd love to see I would love for the hover feature to work, but it doesn't. But that's definitely a competitive election. In Oregon, it's way too close to call. 2/3 of the vote is in. About 1% separates them, which in this case is about 15,000 votes. And there's still a lot of days left for ballots to come in. Pennsylvania, that wasn't really a surprise to me. Shapiro winning. And then Shapiro probably helped drag Fetterman up. But at the same time, Oz had his own unique problems with not really being from Pennsylvania. Tony Evers, he won over Tim Mickles. Pretty much all the vote is in, and, well, it's almost 100,000 votes, and there was some split ticketing. Those were the big ones. Going back to Senate, I'm going to look at Washington. 14 points, but I mean, there's still... well, they expect a lot more Republican votes to be coming in from rural areas, but I mean, they also expect Seattle to have a ton of votes left. Said it is a decent overperformance for Republicans there. So basically, Republicans overperformed in some places, and they probably should, and they effectively maybe focusing too much on, say, Colorado and Washington, not enough focus in the swing states. But then again, you go down to Florida, and, well, Marco Rubio crushed it, winning Miami, winning the county that Tampa's in. That's a big one. Flipping that county. This is more than what you expect in a Republican wave year. And if I just showed you this image and said, tell me how the midterms went based off of this image, well, Florida doesn't go for a Republican by 16% in a federal election. It just doesn't. We go to the governor's election. They're not even going to show me Florida. And that was a 20-point win. Republicans don't win Broward. Or not Broward, sorry. Republicans don't normally win Palm Beach. Like, this is crushing. Again, if I showed you this image and told you, determine the midterms based off of that, I mean... see, Connecticut, U.S. House. The 5th is still out. Ooh. That's very close. That said, most of the expected vote out is probably Democratic, but I know Rhode Island, Fung didn't win. You go to Virginia, based off the House seats, that was entirely expected. My district, the 9th, Now, why did they make this for ants? They expect a little bit of vote left coming in, but there's only two places that are voting for the Democrat in the 9th. Montgomery County, which is a bare win, and then Martinsville, which it is a win. Wow, okay, that's pretty surprising to me. We go back. And 3rd and 4th weren't really expected to be competitive. The 1st wasn't expected. 2nd was one of the competitive districts. And one of the ones to actually pay attention to. There's not much vote expected left. And looking at it, both candidates, one where you expected them to. Virginia Beach was very narrow, but it shifted a little bit. It shifted about 5 points towards the GOP. Chesapeake, which is technically an independent city, shifted about 6 points. Same thing with Virginia Beach, even though it's a county-sized independent city. Does that make sense? The 7th, Spanberger won another term by about 4%. There's basically no vote left. What's the part of Prince William County that is in went to Spanberger by a gigantic margin. And the only other place it went to her was Fredericksburg, but that's enough because everything else is, well, heavily populated. Stafford. That's, I think that's Stafford County. But Vega didn't do well enough outside of Prince William, and honestly, probably didn't do well enough in Prince William. And then the only other race of note in Virginia was the 10th, where 6% win for Wexton in a district that was a double-digit Biden district over Hung Chow. Again, no vote is expected. Loudon being the biggest. Chow actually did okay in his part of, Prince William. But Wexton didn't do as well in Loudon. I mean, we can see how far to the right it shifted. Manassas Park, independent city there. I want to say that's Fairfax County, not Fairfax City. Really shifted, but then again, we could also, I'm not sure if that's for the entire part. Manassas, that's an independent city there. That shifted dramatically. But yeah, so anyway, Democrats had a much better night than I was expecting them to, and honestly, I can accept being wrong. It happens. Looking at this. So, Arkansas voted against legalizing marijuana. Colorado right now is leaning towards decriminalizing and regulating certain psychedelics. Oh boy. Maryland has legalized marijuana. Missouri has legalized marijuana. North Dakota has gone against legalizing marijuana. And right now, it looks like South Dakota is probably going to do the same thing. Looking at these, none of those are really Surprise to me. Connecticut to allow early voting. Okay. Nebraska allows that. Okay. Ooh, Nevada might be having open primaries and ranked choice voting, which is kind of interesting to me. And it barely leads, and wow, okay. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end it here before I go too crazy. Take it easy, everybody. Have a nice day, and I'll see y'all next time when I'm feeling better.